Hi guys, got a request from Random Guy, wants to know whether we can have the propellers under the water instead of blowing in the wind on my fan boat here, or airboat I think it's what it's called. Well, the short answer is these propellers are too big to go underwater. I mean, they would work underwater, but they'd be putting quite a strain on the motors because they're very big for actually underwater. So I'm going to do a quick mod to this boat, and I'm going to use these little propellers or fan blades that come off this garden ornament, garden windmill. In fact, that one's just a tiny bit bigger, I think. I don't know, looks about the same size, but I've got these off previous ornaments, so I'll use them. And I'll poke some holes through the back of the boat here at an angle, so the motors will sit up here and the propellers will be underneath. Then I'll use these bicycle spokes to extend the shafts down under the water. Just put a point on the end of this wooden stick, so I'll just push it up at an angle. Doesn't really matter exactly where it is, but as long as it goes up at a reasonable angle. There we go. Got a bit of plastic tubing here from the end of a some sort of spray bottle. But that plastic tubing's the right size for the bicycle spoke to go through with a bit of clearance. So I'll cut that and fit it through the hole that I've just made. And then we'll mount the motors up here and put the propellers on the back. Right, I've pushed the tubes through and cut the bicycle spokes to the right length. So we now need to shift the motors down here somewhere and put some little mountings for them to get them up at the right height and the right angle. And then to join the shafts together, I'm using this bit of insulation off some power cable. I'll just show it up here because it's easy to see. So that will join them together. And also the hole on the propeller is much bigger than the shaft, and we should be able to use some of this to pad it out. There we go. There is a problem. At the moment these motors are set up to be counter-rotating. One goes left, one goes right. But the propeller blades are both the same direction. So I'm going to have to swap the wires over so they both turn the same way. And that will give us a slight problem in that the boat may tend to drift one way under the torque of the propellers. And at the moment we've got no rudders fitted, so we'll try it without rudders just to see if we can get it to work, and then if necessary I could add rudders later. There we are, with the motors mounted further forwards and the propellers under the water. I did say I was going to swap the wires around on the motors, but because of the way I control it I don't really need to. I'll just push the lever the opposite direction. Just have to remember what I'm doing when I got it in the water. So we'll go and give it a try. In my bathroom, got some water in the bath, so let's see if it works. Right, forwards. Oops. Looks like the steering works. Having trouble remembering which way to do the forwards, so it's... no, that's backwards. No. That's quite manoeuvrable, isn't that? But it does have a bit of a left turn on it when I'm trying to go forwards, if I use both propellers. It's controllable, but it's not quite as straight as it would have been if they were contra-rotating, one left and one right. Anyway, that answers the question. Yes, we can have the propellers under the water and it still works. But they have to be smaller propellers because those big ones just would put too much strain on the motors. Job done.